Hello, and welcome to today's math lesson. Today we are continuing with time to the hour. So, this is what we are learning today, time to the hour. By the end of this lesson, you're going to be able to say, I can tell and write time to the nearest hour. But let's start with mental math. The question we have today is the number of the days in a week plus 1. Do you know how many days are there in the week? Let's find out. We're going to say the days together while I'm going to count them. So let's start. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We have 7 days in a week, but we need to find out the number of days in a week plus 1. So 7 plus 1, yes, it's 8. Let's review our previous lesson about time to the hour. We have two types of clocks. We have the analog clock and we have the digital clock. In the analog clock, we find two hands, the minute hand and the hour hand. And the digital clock shows us numbers. Both these clocks are showing 5 o'clock. An analog clock has an hour and a minute hand. The hour hand, which is this one, points to the hour on an analog clock. A digital clock uses numbers on a screen to show the time. A minute hand points to the minute on an analog clock. So when it's pointing to the hour, when we're learning about time to the hour, the minute hand will be on the 12, and the digital clock will show 00 to show a clock. Please go and watch these two videos on YouTube. Watch them carefully and then we'll continue with this lesson. Let's see the problem of the day. Now remember, when we have problem solving, we need to do 3 steps. Step number 1 is to understand, step number 2 to plan, and step number 3 to solve. So let's start. The problem says Colin gets home at 3 o'clock. Evan gets home 1 hour later. What time does Evan get home? Well, first we understand, so we underline what we know. We know that Colin gets home at 3 o'clock and Evan gets home 1 hour later. We need to find out what time does Evan get home. So Colin gets 3, which would be here. If we read a clock at 3 o'clock, that means that the hour hand will be pointing to 3. And it says Evan gets home 1 hour later. What time does Evan get home? 1 hour later, that means we need to move 1 hour. We need to jump 1 hour, or we need to add 1 hour. So we move to the next hour. So 3 and 1 hour later will be 2. That's why this clock is pointing at 4 o'clock. Evan gets home at 4 o'clock. Let's do the tasks together. Let's start with task number 1. Open your book in page 596. Write the date on top of the page. Today is May 6, 2020. Let's start with, we're going to do 2 problems of this page. Problem number 11 and 12. Let's start with number 11. It says basketball practice starts at 4 o'clock. Mark it's a snack 2 hours before practice. What time does Mark eat his snack? So when we talk about before, that means we need to count back because it happened before. So if we have that he starts at 4, he starts at 4 o'clock, but he eats a snack 2 hours before. 2 hours before, so we need to minus 2 hours. We need to count back. So the minutes will stay the same, but the hour will change. 4 minus 2 will become 2. So he ate his snack at 2 o'clock. So again, when we see before, that means we need to count back. Let's look at question number 12. It is 4 hours before 12 o'clock. What time is it if it is exactly on the hour? Show the time on the clock. So it's 4 hours before 12 o'clock. So we have 12 o'clock. And again, we have that it's before. So what do? We have to minus. It's 4 hours before. 4 hours before 12 o'clock. So we start with the minutes. The minutes will stay the same. And what about the hours? We count back. 12 minus 4 will give us 8. What time it is if it's exactly on the hour? If it's exactly on the hour, let's use red for the hour hand. It will be 4 o'clock. And if you want to show that it's o'clock, we need to put the hour hand where? In the 12. Oh, I'm sorry. I did a mistake right here. We are looking for 8 o'clock. We are looking for 8 o'clock. So the hour hand, sorry about that. The hour hand should be on the, yes, on the 8. 8. And then the minute hand will be on the 12 to show o'clock. Got it now? So again, it is 4 hours before 12. What time it is if it's exactly on the hour would be 8 o'clock. Show the time on the clock. The hour hand will be pointing to 8 and the minute hand will be on 12. Task number 2. We have to solve page 595. Let's start. We need to tell what time is shown. Here we need to write the time on a digital clock. We already have the clock in an analog clock, but we need to write it on a digital. So can you tell me what time is it here? Look at the minute hand, look at the hour hand. It's pointing to 1. So it is 1 and the minute hand is pointing at 12, which means o'clock. And it is 0, 0, double 0. Here, the hour is on, yes, it's on 8, and the minute will be double 0. If the minute hand is pointing at 12, again, it means o'clock, which is shown as double 0. Here, the minute hand and the hour hand are both pointing at the same number, which is 12. So the hour will show 12 and the minutes will show 00. So it will be 1 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. Now here, let's read 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. So let's draw all of the hours. Let's start with 5 o'clock. That means the hour hand should point at 5. Here, 10 o'clock. That means the hour should point at 10, and it's shorthand, so it doesn't go all the way to the number. And then 3 o'clock. Remember, it's shorthand, so it does not touch the number. Now, a clock has to be shown with the minute hand, and the minute hand should go on 12. And remember, this is the long hand, so the long hand should go all the way on the number, on the 12, because we are showing a clock. And now we have to write them on a digital clock. 5 o'clock, which means 00. 10 o'clock, which means what? Yes, 00. And 3 o'clock. Sorry about that, 3, which means what? Yeah, 00. Great work today, guys. Thank you so much. When you finish doing your pages, you can go and play the game on your IXL app, or go on your laptop on this link and play the time to the hour game. If you go on your iPad, go to Match Analog Clocks and Times. Thank you so much, and stay home and stay safe. Bye bye.